Hopefully by now you know that health cannot come from a bottle, it comes from within. You've got to have faith in your body's ability to heal. You've got to have a proper support system, people who will love you and care for you and help you in making right choices. You've got to have self-responsibility. You have to accept the fact that no one else can make you healthy, only you can, and that comes by living different lifestyle, making different lifestyle choices.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patricia McGoon. I've been under Dr. Brad's care for 5 years. I started coming because I suffered from migraines, and I took a drug and I would have these migraines 3 to 4 times a week, and they were excruciating and just made your life miserable. And I started out coming 3 times a week, moved to 2 times a week, and now I'm down to 1 time a week. I am practically migraine free. I am off my medicine, and I really appreciate Dr. Brad for all he has done for me. And with that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Brad to the group, if he'd like to come in.
Thank you. Well, isn't that cool? I mean, raise your hand if you've ever taken any medication for anything. Almost everyone on this planet is in that situation. So if we can figure out how your body is working incorrectly and change that, it makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it, Pat? In fact, as the PowerPoint says, stop living from one dose to the next. You know, if you can, I have people who literally go on vacation, they travel, they base everything in their life around their medication schedule. That's sad to me. It doesn't have to be that way. Unfortunately, sometimes it is. So really, what is your ultimate goal? You know, is it to have all the money in the world? Is it to be able to travel wherever you want? Is it that really nice car? Right, Marcus? That would be kind of cool, huh? What is your ultimate goal? Is it health? What is health going to give you? Everything you want. What is all the money in the world going to give you? You know, material things, okay. But what is a nice car going to give you? It's going to give you people looking at you, right? And it's going to be a lot of fun, maybe. Traveling and seeing whatever you want. All those things, even your health, gives you one specific thing. And that's happiness. You see, life is about being happy, enjoying the moment, and being able to do what you want to do. And if you don't have your health, you can't do those things that you want to do. Frankie and I, we were just talking about that, weren't we? So, in fact, people want happiness so badly, they're willing to take desperate measures to get there. In fact, in North America, the #1 selling retail product in North America is cocaine. Over $100 billion a year industry. Now, I am not an advocate of taking cocaine, but why do people take it? To make them feel good, right? And it makes them feel great, supposedly, but then they have this terrible crash. And then that's where the addiction comes from, is because they don't like that crash and they want to keep feeling good and they keep taking it more and more. All to create happiness. Well, if there's a better way, then we ought to figure out how to do that. In fact, here's a better way, right? Instead of taking an illegal drug like cocaine, why don't we just take something legal like Prozac? So there are over 300 million people that live in North America. 15 million of those people are taking Prozac. Wow, that's making the pharmaceutical company happy. Eli Lilly, woo, they're rocking. But that's not even including the other SSRI drugs like Zoloft and Paxil and some of the others. That's a lot of people. And what is their ultimate goal? Just the same as all of our ultimate goal. What was that? To be happy. And so we take Prozac to try to be happy. You see, the research shows, first of all, the side effects from Prozac are, some of them are nausea, weight gain, constipation, high blood pressure, sluggishness, blurred vision, violent and suicidal tendencies, headaches, insomnia, being jittery, heart seizures. Those all sound like fun, don't they? In fact, it seems to me like maybe you'd be better off suffering from the effects of the depression or anxiety or whatever else is going on. In fact, the research shows that no drugs can truly help for mental disorders. None of them. All they do is change the chemical balance for a temporary fix so that you have the illusion that you're okay. None of them will actually fix the source of the problem. So if they don't fix the source of the problem, why don't we start looking for the source of the problem? See, drugs are not the answer. And I believe everybody should be able to have the opportunity to be free from drugs. In fact, the number one reason that women take these SSRI drugs is they don't feel they are living up to others' expectations. They're not good enough. They're not smart enough. They're not pretty enough. Well, that's just garbage. Because every one of us is perfect in God's eyes. He created each one of us. And all we have to do is accept that and do our part to serve and to live our life and reach that goal of having happiness so that we can serve others. Because if we're stuck on ourselves, if we're not being happy, we're not going to be able to serve others. And what value is our life then? Why not be a service to others? So this isn't just for women, though. This also affects men, not being strong enough or whatever. So the first step in being free from medications is to simply believe something can happen. To have faith that your body can do something different. You see, if things are going wrong, isn't it common to kind of think, oh my goodness, I can't live like this, and you pop a pill and you get a temporary fix and you think, I feel a little bit better. And it's a solution, right? It's a short-term solution. And it gives you the illusion that maybe that's the answer to your problems. But it's not a long-term answer. I had a patient recently that she didn't start care. She came in, she had the exam, we showed her x-rays, I gave her her very first adjustment, and she decided not to start care. The reason she didn't start care, though, was because she was so focused on all the things that might go wrong. She was focused on the lack of possibility. She was skeptical and thinking, you talk about these wonderful miracles that happen, like what Pat shared regarding her, not taking Imitrex anymore. She said, these things happen to everybody else. They're not going to happen to me. My problem is really severe. Mine's serious. Like, Pat, was your condition serious? Yeah, it was serious to you. And Frankie, are your problems serious to you?
Oh, yeah.
You bet they are. Every one of us that has problems, they're serious to us. But those of us in this room, most of us, have made a choice to have a different outcome. And because we had the faith that something would work, something did work. And something is working all the time for us. You see, she justified her non-belief. That's what she was doing. She was justifying her non-belief. So in order to be free from drugs, we've got to be able to get rid of the thought viruses. We got a virus on our computer the other day, kind of scared us. It would have been really uncomfortable if our computers would have shut down for the whole day. But fortunately, we have an amazing guy that helps our computers to run strong, and fortunately, it didn't create any kind of a problem. But that's the same thing that happens in our mind. If we allow those thought viruses to come in and canker us and get us to, as Zig Ziglar says, stinking thinking, well, it's going to interfere with our ability to be drug-free. A lot of people think, well, okay, so what if I'm drug-free? And why do I need to be drug-free? Well, why would you need to be drug-free? I'm Brad. What do you think? What would be the advantage of being drug-free?
Well, cost for one, cost.
Okay, you might save yourself some money.
Co-pays, are pretty outrageous on some of these medications.
Yeah, so even if we just look at financial, I mean, that's a benefit. Why else would you want to be drug-free?
Negative side effects.
Negative side effects. Yeah. See, every drug has a side effect. Eli Lilly, the major drug company, is the maker of the Prozac. They say that every drug has a side effect. There is no such thing as a safe drug. So it starts with believing and getting rid of the thought virus. This is one of our patients, Candace. Candace shares that what happened for her, in speaking of this getting rid of the thought virus, she had a pretty serious situation. And she actually lost the function of her left leg. And she had some pretty severe back pain as well. And so she actually went to the emergency room. And after she finished the emergency room visit, which was a lot longer than she anticipated, she was in worse shape based on the treatment that she had, and she was suffering severely. She was not living a life. She was not functioning. She was talking with one of her friends, and her friend said, "Straight Chiropractic can help you." And immediately, she had the faith that chiropractic could help her. You see, it starts with having that belief first. And she said, she told me recently, she says, because her friend, our patient, had the confidence in chiropractic, it instilled confidence in her, and she was willing to make that first step. So I guess my question to you is, what are you doing to instill confidence in somebody else, to be able to help them understand that there is something they can do? And those of you who are in this room, I know you're doing that. We have our, every opportunity that you have, you are sharing chiropractic with somebody, and I thank you for that. In Candace's own words, she used this quote from Napoleon Hill that says, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Who believes that? I do. It's also important to have a support system. You see, if you're going through something that's really hard, it's a good idea to have somebody who can help you. Mark Victor Hansen, the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, all of those books, and many other books, he shares that if we surround ourselves with people who are better than us, we will become better. But if we surround ourselves with people who constantly try to drag us down, we're going to be drugged down. We've got to associate with people who are going to build us up. And in fact, that's what was really important for Linda. Linda, some of you know, she had a pretty serious condition to overcome. What had happened for her is she went through, as Frankie is doing right now, she went through our wellness certification a few years ago, back in 2008. She had just become a patient that year. She went through the wellness certification, and in December of that year, she was diagnosed with cancer. Well, she had been through enough in our office and in the other education she had received that she decided she didn't want to do the standard treatment for cancer. What is the standard treatment for cancer?
Chemotherapy and radiation.
Chemotherapy and radiation, and then there's one other thing they can do. Cut it out. Do a surgery. Well, she decided, she'd heard of people who had lost all their hair and all these kinds of bad side effects from doing that. And of course, Lance Armstrong in his book, he talks about how their intent is to literally take you next to death before they allow you to come back to life. That's what the chemo and radiation does. So she decided she didn't want to do that because she realized that the reason she had the cancer in the first place was because of her lifestyle. She created that. She allowed that to happen in her body based on her lifestyle choices. Most people think, I'm just a victim, right? it just happened to me, or it runs in my family, or whatever. Well, she took responsibility and she decided to learn how to live her life differently. And so 5 months later, she was given a clean bill of health. Absolutely zero cancer, and she had not done any chemotherapy or any radiation, and certainly no surgery at all. It's pretty exciting, but what she attributes that to, not only because the lifestyle changes that she had to make by eating differently, because some of the foods that she was eating were causing the cancer, getting adjusted regularly. She had already made that modification in her life, and some other significant changes. She realized because of how hard they were, first of all, she was very motivated. Her life depended on it, right? She was motivated, and also she had a loving, supportive system around her. People who loved her enough to help her eat that way, to help her make those lifestyle changes. And because she did, it changed her life. She's now living proof. So the key is understanding that your health is your responsibility. My health is my responsibility. Now, I take my health very seriously. I'm not perfect. I know some people try to put me on this pedestal and think that I eat only perfect things all the time, and I exercise just the way that, and I, all these things that I talk about in our workshops. I'm not perfect. I'm going to let you know that. Don't put me on a pedestal. I have plenty of faults, but I try to be better. And I try to eat things that are going to help create life for my body. And sometimes I know that I'm eating things that are creating death for my body. But if I don't do it too often, if I just do it occasionally, it doesn't have as detrimental effect on my body. And I know that. And if we just eat well most of the time, we can give in every now and again, and it's not a big deal, depending on our sensitivities. So, understanding that our health is our responsibilities, well, we can do specific things to create better health. For example, if you have subluxation, is it a necessary thing to get rid of that subluxation? To the greatest degree possible. The research shows if you have subluxation, if those bones have shifted out of position, and if there's nerve pressure on those nerves, it is impossible to have full life force going to those organs, and your organs simply cannot function at 100%. It's as simple as that. So obviously we want to remove that subluxation the best that we can, which is why regular chiropractic care should be a part of everybody's life. For how long? For life, that's right. For as long as you want to be healthy. If you decide that one day that you don't want to be healthy, well, then that's the day you decide to stop chiropractic care. On that, what about nutritional habits? Who's heard that eating a lot of raw vegetables and fruits is a good idea? Every one of us, right? And we're all perfect at it too, right? No, of course not. But if we are working to become better at that, we can be healthy. Some time ago, somebody shared after a workshop, I asked them what they got out of this workshop that we were at. And she says, you know what? It seems like you say the same thing every time. Don't eat sugar, eat really well, and get adjusted. Well, you know what? Those are principles. And I know for myself, I have to be reminded of those things. And so I encourage you to just join me on this crusade to help as many other people live those principles. And we can make this a healthier place. Spinal hygiene is really important to help reduce that subluxation. Doing traction is really helpful in helping you hold your adjustments longer. Exercise, core strengthening, will help you hold your adjustments better. There are lots of things that you can do to take responsibility for your own health and be healthier and hold your adjustments better. A perfect example of this is Chris. Chris Perucker, a couple of years ago before I met him, he was able to ride his motorcycle no more than 1 to 2 hours at a time. And he had severe pain. He was taking ibuprofen, maximum dose, every 4 hours. And in between that, sometimes he would even take aspirin because the pain was so severe. And he had lived like that for quite some time. Finally, one day, he found chiropractic. And within just a very short period, within a few days, his pain went completely away. See, what happened with Chris is he was in a pretty severe motorcycle accident, which he thought he was going to live that way for the rest of his life. Chiropractic changed his life, though. It's exciting. In fact, I had a conversation with him just last week. He shared that he was up at the bike rally or whatever they do up in Sturgis. And he rode his bike up there. And the day that he decided to come home, he took off early in the morning and he made it to Denver. And then somebody said, it's not that much further. Why don't you just go on to Albuquerque? And so he continued on. And he rode his bike 14 hours in one day. And guess how many pills he took along the way? 0. He didn't have to take any. Chiropractic had changed his life. See, it's all about having quality of life. Another story, this is Stacy King and her family. Stacy realizes that in order to have 100% health, you must have 100% nerve flow. Stacy started to get adjusted, and she started to feel a little bit better, but she kind of reached a pinnacle of where she was. Then she found our office, and something changed for her. First of all, she got that hope back, that belief that her body could heal. And see, Stacy was taking some pretty serious Prozac-like drugs. And she was not functioning at 100%. Chiropractic had helped her a little bit. She learned some different things when she came to our office. She learned some specific things about how the upper part of the neck, when it's cleared out in relation to the rest of the body, and how that working together can allow more life to flow. And she started getting chiropractic care in our office. Now, I want to be really clear. I am not suggesting that we do chiropractic better than anyone else. But we do something different and unique. And for a lot of people, it's what they're missing. And so for her, what happened is a very short period of time, she was able to get out of the big rut that she was in. It made her physically feel well enough to where she was able to start tapering off of the medication she was taking. It made her physically to the point where she could start exercising and feeling better that way. And now, 3 years later, she's functioning like a normal human being. She has quality of life, and she's totally drug-free. So I guess my question is, who do you know that needs to be off of medications? And we have something very special also. Some of you have seen these shirts that we're all wearing today. They're pretty awesome shirts. They're some of the best shirts I've ever seen, actually. But it's really cool because on the back, it says, "My new prescription for life. Less medicine, more health." So it's a new way to look at things. Well, we have these shirts for those people who are able and who are successful in getting rid of medications. And so if you have an old pill bottle of some medication that you used to take, and you would like to be able to put that pill bottle and add it to our collection in our drug jug, well, we want that in our drug jug. And as you do that, we're going to give you one of these cool t-shirts because it is one of the coolest t-shirts you could wear, along with the wellness certification t-shirt that Frankie's wearing. And Helen, you've collected a few of these shirts along the way, haven't you?
Actually, I'm wearing the new RX.
She's got the new prescription because she's been able to get rid of some medications. So all I want you to do is join me on this crusade, as I know most of you already have done, and that is helping us take this message to the world. We all deserve to be free from medications because beauty comes from within, and not from a bottle. Beauty comes from having that free-flowing life from our brain to every cell in our body so that we can simply function the way that God intended. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
You can do it. I want to again say, like I did in the beginning, if you are suffering from a health condition, be wise. Don't just stop taking medication. Listen to your medical doctor. Go visit with them. Let them know the changes that you're making. Let them know that you have that desire to get off the medications. And most of the time, they will help you do that. You can do it. I overcame medications. So many other people have been able to stop taking medications. Make sure you're getting adjusted. Have full, free-flowing life force going to every cell in your body so that you can heal. So, this week's homework is to read, watch, and listen. Read something good every day. An article, read out of a book that is about somebody that overcame the same condition that you have, about healthy lifestyle choices, about whatever it needs to do to be able to empower you to make different choices. Listen. Listen to good recordings. Listen to people who have overcome the same thing that you're dealing with so that you can also overcome those conditions and live a drug-free life. Watch more workshops like this or other educational material that will help you and empower you. The key is to empower yourself. Your health is your responsibility. You can do it. You can be drug-free. So, until next time, live your life to the fullest.